geometry, we are starting like we have the last few lessons here because we're still in that parallelogram mindset. And the only PO of the unit, save for your two review POs at the very end that are always there, is PO48, which is talking about squares. Okay? And a square is arguably the most important of the parallelogram shapes because look at all those characteristics that we have for a square. 10 of them.
Glorious.
10 of them. It is glorious. Okay? Because a square is a parallelogram, it's got all 5 of those things that every other parallelogram does, which are, give me one, same time.
Opposite angles are congruent.
Opposite angles congruent. Give me another one, Kylie.
Opposite sides are congruent.
Opposite sides are congruent.
Hold on, you're going too fast. You have it written 3 more times.
Okay, can we just Rowan actually Mr. Schultz, can we just skip this part because we've done this every
Alright,
other day
we're good.
for the past almost a week.
Why don't you? No, I'm caught up. You can speed up now.
Speed up fast.
2x speed.
Here.
No, keep going forward.
Thanks,
Mr.
Evan.
Schultz.
Good. What else we know?
Consecutive angles are supplementary.
Consecutive angles are supplementary.
Yes, they are.
What's that, Rowan? I'm going the perfect speed.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
No, faster.
You're gonna just like
Give me another one.
The way I talk.
Yep. Same time.
Yep. Diagonals bisect each other.
Diagonals bisect each other. And last but not least, Kylie.
Opposite sides are parallel.
Opposite sides are parallel. Okay, and as we were going through a rhombus and a rectangle, several of you made the comment, when I gave you a characteristic of a rhombus, you said, well, yeah, that's true for a square too. And you were right. And we went through rectangle and said, oh, that's true for a square too. You were right. The thing about squares is that a square is both a rhombus and a rectangle because it has the same 5 characteristics that each of those shapes share. Rhombus has got 3 special ones. Rectangles have 2 special ones. The square shares them all. So look back at what made a rhombus, and what made a rectangle. All 5 of those are also true for a square. Give me one of them. Alex.
Diagonals bisect each pair of opposite.
Okay, the diagonals bisect each pair of opposite angles. Okay, which shape does that also attribute it to?
Rhombus.
Rhombus. Okay, the diagonals bisecting each pair of opposite angles, true for a rhombus and a square. What else? Hallie.
All sides are congruent.
All sides are congruent. And which shape?
Rhombus.
Rhombus. Okay.
Good job.
Yes.
Beckman?
Diagonals bisect at 90 degrees.
Diagonals intersect at a
Rectangle.
90-degree angle.
No. How?
How do they do it?
Is it intersect or bisect?
Intersect.
Oh,
They bisect.
rhombus.
They bisect each other, right? That's one of the other ones. But they intersect at a 90-degree angle, same as a
Rhombus.
rhombus. Okay. So within a square, you've got those right triangles, just like we saw with a rhombus, right? What else do we know about a square? Because it is. Damien?
It has. Wait, no.
Ellen?
I'm not answering. 4 right angles.
4 right angles.
Let me try that.
Okay.
I'll give
Now
you a
I'm gonna stop us here for just a moment here. Okay. When we talk about a square, okay, we know it has 4 right angles in the corners. which means when you put the diagonals in, it creates 2 or 4 right triangles using those outer angles. Okay? Because we know that the diagonals bisect each pair of opposite angles, what type of triangles do we have here? Like this triangle right here, this right triangle in the corner, what type of triangle is it, Lisa? 45, 45, 90. Now that wasn't the case with the rhombus, because with the rhombus, remember, it doesn't have those 4 right angles on the outside. But because these are each 90 and the diagonal bisects it, we have 45, 45, 90 triangles there. In addition, right, you've got this other characteristic that these diagonals intersect at 90-degree angles, so you've got more right triangles that are formed by the diagonals. A square is basically just a haven of right triangles. Okay? And more specifically, 45, 45, 90 right triangles. So those ratios from PO41, where we're talking about that n root 2 relationships, they come up huge with squares. Okay? Because they're not only right triangles, but they're specifically 45, 45, 90 right triangles. And what is the last piece of it? What's the last? Yeah.
Diagonals are congruent.
Diagonals are congruent. Jack, do you have a question?
Yep.
What's your question?
Rowan had a question.
Rowan, do you have a question? What?
It's been answered.
No? Okay. So when you're working with a square, all 10 of these things can help you figure out angles, sides, as well as sine, cosine, tangent, Pythagorean theorem, 45, 45, 90, all of those things that were POs. The last unit were POs for a reason. Okay? Any questions on this? All right. With that, get to work. Arlene.
For the last question, is there one right answer, or do you have
Oh, let's see. Draw a specific square rectangle, each with integer side lengths greater than 1 and areas of 16. Which shape has longer diagonals and by how much? So this piece here is kind of important. What does integer mean? Whole numbers, right? They can't be decimals, can't be fractions. So if the side lengths have to be greater than 1, folks, there are only 2 ways to get an area of 16 using integer side lengths with lengths greater than 1.
Got it.
Okay? So those are the 2 that narrow it down. There is only one correct answer for this one. Okay. Your homework for tomorrow is to finish PO48. I'm available. Mr. Blink's available. Your toolbox, everything in it is available. That's how you math.